It's time for the 1430 Connection on 1430 WNAV and 99.9 FM, spotlighting news, newsmakers, and important community issues. Now, with this week's edition of the 1430 Connection, here is WNAV news anchor Donna Cole.
Welcome to the 1430 Connection. My name is Donna Cole. In the studio today with me is retired Commander, U.S. Navy, Scott Shepard. He is currently the president of the Annapolis chapter of the U.S. Naval Academy Alumni Association. He also serves as the Mid-Atlantic coordinator for the USNA Class of 1991. Yes, he's an alum, and has been assisting with the commissioning committee for the USS Sioux City. Thanks for joining me today, Scott.
Thanks a lot, Donna. Glad to be here.
So we finally have a commissioning date for the Sioux City. That means you have a lot of work to do in 2 months, right?
We do. I've been helping out the commissioning committee. The committee has been working for a long time now, preparing for the commissioning ceremony, and we've been waiting on a date. And finally, November 17th is the date. We just announced it last week, and so that's a little over 2 months away. And we do have a lot of work to do. And
you've put in your request for good weather.
Oh yes, definitely.
For that day and the whole week before when the ship is okay.
Definitely.
Very good. All right. So to get into your background a little bit, when did you take over the president of the Annapolis chapter for the U.S. Naval Academy Alumni Association?
A year ago, July.
Okay.
So it's a 2-year tour.
And I see, because I have the bio of your naval career, you raise your hand a lot and say, sign me up, right?
I do a little bit, yep.
And what has been the past year like heading this?
Oh, it's been great. There's about a little over 2,200 Naval Academy graduates in the greater Annapolis area. Obviously, there's many more in D.C. and Baltimore area, but the area surrounding Annapolis is about 2,200. And I've had a wonderful opportunity to meet a lot of those graduates I never would have met as president of the Alumni Association. We have monthly socials with our members, and any Naval Academy grad, or actually any Academy grad, is welcome to attend those socials with us. And then other big events that we have are away game watch parties for football games. We do some volunteer work with the Brigade of Midshipmen, and then we help out in the community also.
I would guess the Annapolis chapter's got to be one of the larger chapters, yeah?
In terms of number of graduates in the area, it is. I don't think our membership is quite as large as some of the outlying fleet concentration areas, Norfolk and San Diego, just because they are far away from Annapolis, and there's lots of people that are retired there. I think they're more inclined to join the Alumni Association, whereas here in Annapolis, you're so close to the Academy that you don't necessarily need the alumni, so the chapter to feel connected to the Academy because you're so close. So that's how I view it. We do have about 200, a little over 200 members right now, and so we are one of the larger ones, but not the largest.
To give you an idea, the association has more than 60,000 plus members through a network of 100 chapters around the world, global, and about 75 active class organizations with 80 parent clubs. Magazine is Shipmate. Wavetops is your e-newsletter, and this is the umbrella for all of the Naval Academy Alumni Association. To go back to your history, Scott, you are a Maryland native, I saw on your bio. You got your BS in political science and commissioned as an ensign at the Naval Academy on my birthday, 29 May, 1991. I was born before that. SWO, right?
I was, yes.
And for those that don't know what SWO is?
I'm a surface warfare officer, so ship driver is another word for it. So, I served aboard surface ships in the United States Navy.
Your first one. You were not there for that collision, I see by the dates, but I had to ask you. The Lady Gulf, right?
Yes, Lady Gulf. She was home ported at Mayport at that point, and she was my first tour. Had a great time, 3 years on board that ship. She was a wonderful ship. I had great leadership, and that greater leadership is probably what convinced me to stay and make a career of the Navy, is my experiences on Lady Gulf.
Am I imagining it, or was it home ported in Norfolk originally?
It was. No, so after Mayport, it went to Norfolk.
Okay, yeah, the other way around. Okay, I seem to remember. Your Bronze Star. Tell me about the Bronze Star.
So I was awarded that I had command of USS Ardent, which is MCM-12, a mine countermeasures vessel that was home ported in Manama, Bahrain. I took command in December of 2002, just before Operation Iraqi Freedom. So there were 4 mine countermeasures vessels there, 2 MCMs and 2 MHCs, and we joined with some British minesweepers. And in the opening phases of Iraqi Freedom, we cleared the waters for supplies to go up into Iraq, so the Northern Arabia Gulf, all the way up the Khwar Abdallah waterway into Iraq, so up into a river that went to the port in Iraq, the Basra port in Iraq. So it was, there were live mines in the water. We did clearance operations, and as a CO of one of those ships, each of us was awarded a Bronze Star. So it's meritorious service in time of combat.
It's truly heroic for all the other ships that would come behind you. We're going to take a short break. We will be right back on the 1430 Connection. Welcome back to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. In the studio with me today is retired Navy Commander Scott Shepard. He's currently the president of the Annapolis chapter of the U.S. Naval Academy Alumni Association. The Annapolis chapter, you just mentioned a lot. You don't have the same need as some of the outlying areas because people are already connected here. Yes. How do you get members? Are you out there forcing people, you have to sign up right now wherever you find them?
No, we've done quite a lot of advertising. We have a Facebook page, and then also I can send an email. As a chapter president, I am authorized to send an email out to all 2,200 alumni in the area. So I send out an email every couple weeks and let them know about upcoming events and things that are happening, encourage them to join. And I think we've had a little bit of success since I've been president. We've added some new members, and so that's how it happens.
It's kind of a family, right?
It is, definitely. Yeah, and like I said, all our events are open to all graduates. You don't have to be a member of the chapter. We do charge dues, and some people just don't want to pay dues. And I understand that. But any alumni is welcome to any of our events, and they should get information about them in this email that I send out every couple of weeks.
And tell me about some of these events.
So we have socials, like I mentioned, once a month at local establishment. We've had it at various bars or restaurants in the area, and that's just a networking time, a time to join up with all alumni and old times, remember old times. We have football watch parties, so when the Naval Academy football team is away, we host a watch party at, again, another local establishment, a bar, or in fact this fall we're going to do it for the first time at somebody's residence. But,
no Army fans allowed.
No, they're more than welcome. So, but so we have watch parties, and then we do a lot of work, volunteer work with the local community. So one of the big things that we did is we provided over 25 volunteers for the benefit concert that was just held for the victims at the Capital Gazette. Right. They put out a call for volunteers, and I put that out to my membership.
That's
and
wonderful.
it was a really quick turnaround, and we had 25 people who volunteered. So we were very fortunate and happy to help with that event.
Senator McCain died this week and will be laid to rest at the Naval Academy on Sunday. Are you all involved with that at all?
No, I don't think so. I think the event actually at the Academy is going to be private. Everything I've heard. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town this weekend, but because we would have liked to have been here for the ceremony, I think we'll go down and to the Capitol and pay our respects when he's laying in rest on Friday, my wife and I. But the chapter itself is not going to be involved in the ceremonies.
And speaking of Washington, D.C., you worked while you were in the Navy on Capitol Hill, yes?
I did.
And you work for somebody we still know.
Yes, you do.
Let me hear about that.
After my department head tour on board USS Hopper in Pearl Harbor, I was fortunate to be selected as a Navy Legislative Fellow and went to Capitol Hill. It was in 2002, so right after 9/11. It was a very interesting time. All the Navy personnel who were assigned for the fellowship program went to Capitol Hill, and we interviewed with various members and senators. And I was selected by Senator Jeff Sessions, a Republican from Alabama, to serve on his staff. I assisted his military legislative assistant and worked on veterans issues, military issues, constituent services. So it was a very interesting time. Post 9/11, it was an interesting time in our country, and then also it was election year for Senator Sessions, so it was an interesting year to be there.
And Senator Sessions is now known as the Attorney General of the United States.
He is, yes.
All right, we're going to take another short break. When we come back, more about the Alumni Association and its Annapolis chapter with Commander Scott Shepard. This is Donna Cole on the 1430 Connection. We will be right back. Welcome back to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. I'm in the studio with retired U.S. Navy Commander Scott Shepard. He is currently heading up the Annapolis chapter of the U.S. Naval Academy Alumni Association. He's also the Mid-Atlantic coordinator for the U.S. Naval Academy Class of 1991. And has been assisting with the commissioning committee for the USS Sioux City. It's going to be commissioned at the Naval Academy November 17th. I'm not exactly sure when he sleeps. He does have a family. His wife is sitting very quietly in our studio today. Thank you very much. Also former enlisted Navy, which is cool. Thank you both for serving. Your work with the Brigade of Midshipmen. You do some volunteer work. Let me hear about that.
So fortunately, being in Annapolis, we do get to spend quite a bit of time with the midshipmen. I know a lot of our members are sponsors, but as a chapter, we also assist the Midshipman Action Group, which is the volunteer organization with the brigade. And I've been discussing some opportunities with them this year. I think we're going to help out in November with the food drive, the annual food drive that they do. Mm-hmm. It's the largest food drive in terms of pounds or amount of food collected in Anne Arundel County each year. So we're going to assist with helping them collect that food and pack it up and getting it to the various places it needs to go. And then in the spring, we're discussing support for the Special Olympics track and field event.
I was just about to ask you about it. And I've attended that, and I've got to say it's one of the most heartwarming stories I've ever covered, to see these two groups of people come together and the effect each has on the other.
Yes, definitely. I think we're all looking forward to it, and it should be a great time. It's a huge event. I think it's the largest Special Olympics on the East Coast event, and we're looking forward to volunteering and helping out.
That's great. And how many, what have you been doing specifically for the commissioning committee?
So I called Admiral Thorpe, the chairman of the commissioning committee, when I became aware of the Sioux City commissioning, and I volunteered the services of the chapter. And I said, if you need volunteer assistance or anything like that, please call me. So as we work through, we are going to provide volunteer assistance for the various events. There's going to be a week-long series of events that are going to require volunteer support to help pull them off as we celebrate the commissioning of the Sioux City. One of the big things that they've asked us to help with is parking support on the morning of the event. So,
and how is that going to work? The outside has been invited into the Naval Academy for this, right?
Yes, it's open to the public. You need to go to the commissioning committee webpage to find out how to get tickets. It will be a ticketed event. You can't just walk in, but it will be open to the public. They're expecting about 5,000 people. One of the interesting things, it's on a football game day, so it's not quite as easy. We were planning to park at the football stadium, but that's out now. So I think we're going over to the Naval Station and parking over there and busing people from the Naval Station onto the Naval Academy.
This is a huge project.
It seems like it will be.
Do you ever get to sleep?
I do.
That's good news. I did mention the wife. I did see you also have a son who, did you play football? I see the son is playing football.
No, I did not. Yeah, he's playing football. We're very proud of him. He's a senior at Broadneck.
And a daughter, yes, in University of Maryland.
Sophie is at University of Maryland as a junior.
Where can people find out more about the Annapolis chapter of the U.S. Naval Academy Alumni Association? You said you have a Facebook page. What is that called?
Yes, we have a Facebook page. If you just search U.S. Naval Academy Annapolis Alumni Association, it'll come up. I'm the moderator, so if you'd like to join, just request to join, and I can bring you in. And then also, there's a link through the Naval Academy, the large Naval Academy Alumni Association webpage to the local chapter, where you can find information.
And the website for that is?
It's USNA.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you find a chapter, look for the Annapolis chapter, and all the links are there.
All right. What's been the biggest surprise in the past year heading this organization up that you didn't see coming?
That's a good question. It's not a surprise, but the spirit and the camaraderie and the willingness to help each other and the networking that happens through the chapter. So if you have an issue, I just transitioned a couple of years ago, and when I first moved back to Arnold, I had quite a few people who volunteered to help or offered to help with my transition and finding a job after the Navy. And I think that's the biggest thing is we're a family, a large network of alumni across the nation, and you can always call on one of your fellow alumni for help when you need it.
Scott, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you.
This is Donna Cole on the 1430 Connection. We will see you next week.